Hello students, in today's class we'll try to learn about coronary circulation in brief. The coronary blood flow is about 5% of the total cardiac output. Stoppage of heart function for more than a couple of minutes is life-threatening. Therefore, it is essential to maintain an uninterrupted and adequate blood supply to the heart. Hence, coronary circulation is a special circulation in the body. Arterial supply of the heart is mainly by right coronary artery, which supplies the right ventricle and right atrium. The left coronary supplies the left ventricle and left atrium. There are no anastomosis between right and left coronaries. Thus, coronary arteries are end arteries as the territories of blood supply by these arteries do not overlap. So, this is a blood circulation to the heart by the coronary, mainly the left coronary artery and left coronary artery. The left coronary artery has its important branch circumflex artery, and left coronary artery continues as an anterior interventricular artery, whereas right ventricle, it's one of the important branches, right marginal artery. Venous drainage is mainly by the coronary sinus and anterior cardiac veins that drain into the right atrium. And the minor system consists of arteriosinusoidal vessels that drain from arterioles to cardiac chambers, Thespian veins that drain from capillaries to cardiac chambers, and arterioluminal vessels that directly drain from coronary arteries to heart chambers. Innervation. The sympathetic stimulation causes coronary vasodilatation as the coronary arteries are rich in beta receptors. Parasympathetic stimulation causes vasodilatation, which is mediated via cholinergic receptors. These are some of the special features of coronary circulation. Coronary blood flow decreases during systole and increases during diastole. The cardiac blood vessels are compressed during systole, resulting in decreased blood flow to the myocardium. So this vasocompression effect is maximally observed in subendothelial layers. During diastole, relaxation of the cardiac muscle increases coronary blood flow. Remember, the coronary arteries are end arteries. Therefore, blockage of the coronary arteries results in ischemia and infarction. Coronary blood flow is adjusted according to the metabolic need of the myocardium. The coronary blood flow can be increased about 4 to 5 fold to meet the heart's more oxygen need during exercise. Thus, there is adequate coronary blood flow reserve. The heart utilizes wide varieties of substrate for its metabolism. These include free fatty acids, glucose, pyruvate, lactate, ketone bodies, and amino acids. But the major source, about one third of energy supply, is mainly by free fatty acids. Heart muscles extracts about 80% of the oxygen from arterial blood. Thus, arteriovenous oxygen difference is very high in heart even at rest. Therefore, major method to increase the oxygen supply to the heart as required during exercise is to increase coronary blood flow. Normal values of coronary blood flow. Heart weighs about 300 grams. The blood flow to the heart approximately is 250 ml per minute, which is about 85 ml per 100 gram of the cardiac tissue per minute. The rate of coronary blood flow is second highest in the body, next to the renal blood flow, which is around 420 ml per 100 gram of tissue per minute. The coronary blood flow constitutes about 5% of the total cardiac output. However, the rate of oxygen consumption of heart is highest of all the organs of the body, which is around 10 ml per 100 gram of tissue per minute. How do you measure coronary blood flow? The coronary blood flow is measured by direct method or indirect method. Direct method, the coronary flow can be measured directly by placing an electromagnetic flow meter in the coronary artery. So this is used in experimental animals and humans undergoing open heart surgery. Indirect method, fixed method, and radionuclide method. In fixed principle, by fixed principle, in this method, subject inhales a mixture of air and inert gas like nitrous oxide till the gas is distributed in the tissues according to the partition coefficient theory. Then the arterial blood, it can be any peripheral artery, and venous sample, which is from the coronary sinus, are collected. The coronary blood flow calculated as the ratio of amount of inert gas passing through coronary arteries in unit time to average arteriovenous gas concentration difference. So thus the blood flow can be calculated by amount of inert gas taken up per minute divided by arteriovenous difference of the gas. Radionuclide methods. A radioactive substance like thallium is injected intravenously. The gamma camera is placed on the chest to monitor the thallium uptake by the heart. Radioactive xenon can also be used for this purpose. By this method, the difference in blood flow through individual arteries to different parts of the heart can also be measured. How blood flow to the coronary is regulated? It is mainly by the neural regulation, either sympathetic or parasympathetic fibers. Sympathetic fibers stimulation produces vasodilatation due to the predominance of beta receptor in the coronary vessels. Okay, so here stimulation of the beta receptors results in vasodilatation. Vasodilatation also occurs partly due to the deposition of metabolites, as the sympathetic stimulation accelerates cardiac activity that increases the myocardial metabolism. Parasympathetic control. Parasympathetic, that is the vagal stimulation, causes vasodilatation, but there is a sparse sympathetic innervation to the coronary blood vessel. Metabolic regulation. Metabolic regulation of blood flow is well developed in the heart. A close relationship exists between coronary blood flow and oxygen consumption of myocardium. The metabolic factors that cause coronary vasodilatation are hypoxia, increased local concentration of carbon dioxide, increased hydrogen and potassium ion concentration, accumulation of lactate, adenosine, and adenine nucleotide, and increased release of prostaglandins locally. Adenosine also mediates the reactive hyperemia in ventricular muscle fibers. Autoregulation. Uh, a autoregulatory mechanism maintains normal blood flow within the pressure range of 70 to 110 mm of Hg. However, the autoregulation of the blood flow in the heart is not so well developed like in the brain. Physical factors. The blood flow to the cardiac muscle is dependent on myocardial tension, the pressure that builds up in the muscle during contraction. So this is primary factor determining the coronary perfusion. The vasocompression during myocardial contraction decreases the coronary blood flow. The coronary blood flow increases during diastole. In this diagram, you can clearly see that the blood flow reduces during systole in left coronary as well as right coronary artery, and it is going to improve in or during diastole in left coronary artery or right coronary artery. Unlike in systemic vessels in or aorta, where in systole the blood pressure increases and during the diastole blood flow is going to reduce. Clinical aspects. Importantly, the coronary artery disease, it is nothing but decreased blood flow to the heart, which leads to myocardial ischemia, that is angina pectoris, and if severe and prolonged, it results in myocardial infarction. It usually occurs due to the coronary atherosclerosis. Usually, the disease starts with angina and infarction occurs when the obstruction occupies at least 75% of the lumen of the coronary artery. So these are some of the risk factors for cardiovascular disease. Age more than 40, males are more susceptible, positive family history of cardiovascular disease, smoking, hypertension, hypercholesterolemia, diabetes, Hemostatic factors like increased platelet activation, increased levels of fibrinogen, and increased levels of circulating antiphospholipid antibodies. Physical inactivity, obesity, alcohol intake, hyperhomocystinemia, stress, these are some of the factors. Angina pectoris refers to the chest pain due to ischemia of the cardiac muscle. The pain is usually felt in the chest below the sternum towards the left side. The pain typically radiates to ulnar border of the left hand, but it can also radiate to the back or even to the neck or abdomen. Myocardial infarction occurs when ischemia is prolonged following more than 75% of obstruction of any of the coronary arteries. The factors that precipitate myocardial infarction are spasm of the coronary artery at the site of atherosclerosis, platelet aggregation at the site of obstruction, and hemorrhage into the atherosclerotic plaque of the coronary artery. Stress is known to induce coronary artery spasm. Increased levels of lipoprotein A, ultrasensitive C reactive protein oxidized LDL antiphospholipid antibody, troponin I, and homocysteine are strongly correlated with acute myocardial infarction. Acute myocardial infarction causes severe chest pain that radiates along ulnar border of the upper arm and hand. The chest pain usually associated with excessive sweating. How do you diagnose? The typical ECG changes in acute myocardial infarction are to occur are ST segment elevation in the ECG leads over the infarcted areas. The leads placed on the opposite side of the infarction record ST segment depression. The enzyme changes in the plasma. The damaged myocardium releases enzymes into circulation. Detection of elevated levels of enzymes such as creatine kinase and lactate dehydrogenase. But the most specific is increased concentration of CK-MB isoenzyme of uh, creatine kinase and the fraction 1 of lactate dehydrogenase. So this diagram shows the ST elevation during acute MI. The typical clinical presentation, as I told, severe chest pain associated with excessive sweating with or without radiation of the pain to the ulnar border of the left hand. Coronary angiography will show the details of counter of the coronaries and the site and the extent of obstruction in the arteries. Okay, so these diagram shows the angiography of the right coronary artery and the left coronary artery. Treatment, mainly vasodilators used, which cause arterial dilatation that decreases the afterload and cause venodilatation that decreases the preload. Thus, preload and afterload on the ventricle are reduced that decreases myocardial oxygen consumption. Streptokinase causes lysis of intracoronary clot which injected intravenously. It facilitates the conversion of plasminogen to plasmin that causes fibrinolysis. Streptokinase removes obstruction if injected in the early part of the onset of infarction. Tissue plasminogen activator inactivates plasmin and causes fibrinolysis at the site of thrombosis as it inactivates plasminogen bound to the fibrin clot. Coronary angioplasty is done immediately following the confirmation of the diagnosis. A catheter containing balloon is inserted into the coronary artery and then balloon is inflated at the site of obstruction to dilate the constricted artery. So this procedure is called as coronary angioplasty. Calcium channel blockers causes coronary vasodilatation. Antiplatelet aggregating agents, that is low dose of aspirin, inhibits cyclooxygenase system which helps in thromboxane A2 formation. Thromboxane A2 potentiates the vasoconstriction and platelet aggregation. Thus, the aspirin inhibits the platelet aggregation. Folic acid and vitamin B12. In increased plasma levels of homocysteine, where it is strongly correlated with a myocardial infarction, the homocysteine produces damage to the endothelial cells of blood vessels that becomes the site for platelet aggregation, which facilitates the atherosclerosis. folic acid and vitamin B12 convert homocysteine and methionine, homocysteine to methionine, which is a non-toxic compound, and hence helps in uh, reducing the atherosclerosis. Surgical treatment is a definitive treatment of myocardial infarction. Uh, is to bypass the block in the artery by implanting vessel in the heart taken from the other parts of the body, so which is called as bypass surgery. So this is called coronary artery bypass graft, CABG. The grafted artery bypasses the blocked coronary artery. Usually the artery is directly connected from aorta to ventricular muscle, therefore it is also called as aortic CABG.